Friday night, and we're wishing everybody a good Yom Tov in Hebrew, good Yontiv, good Yom Tov, good day, good Sabbath, good Shabbos, and we're home cooking, and I'm canning and pickles, and let's see what else. Kat is helping me make Brussels sprouts. And I guess at the when you talk, do you think I have to turn the camera around, or it'll catch you whatever you say, right?
It won't catch me back here.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh, we'd have to put our microphones on, but then you can't get up. So anyway, I was just thinking if anybody wanted to say anything, whatever we got, we'll see what we get, because the microphone is on, and even if it's not, even if we don't get your anyway, you were saying something, Kat, which was something about what we were talking about. Mayor Liccardo was telling us why we have to go back into the workplace, and the reason is that he's talked to businesses and they like to have you come to the workplace, and and innovation happens over by the water fountain. And what Kat was saying was really funny because no, they draw they're they go to the water fountain, and they're so unhappy in the workplace, and the only one that's happy is the boss, who can count how many people, how many sheep he has that are that are doing his work and his bidding, and rubbing his fingers together because he's making more money, and that's it. But nobody's happy at the workplace per se. I think we need to stay home, even if we're happier at the workplace. There are a lot of externalities of going to the workplace, and that's usually driving there, or even our mass transit isn't fossil fuel free, and so we're making a lot of sacrifices. And then you were saying something. What were you saying? And I was saying how happy we are that it looks like Joe Biden is going to win. And what were you saying? Something?
I just said that it's just pretty shocking to me that after 80 years of leading the world, the free world, with technological advances, that Americans are so anti-scientific and anti-intellectual.
Anti-science, right? And that it was something
it's
about
just really shocking.
Yeah, right. That people want to talk about politics and economics, and they don't want to talk about the science.
Well, not just that, but
yeah.
It's all like don't trust scientists, and
right.
Scientists are eggheads, and they don't, they're communists, and it's just it's really discouraging that after 80 years
of how much we've gotten out of science.
That's
what Kat was saying.
Cell phones and networks and all this stuff that now what happens is that
they say screw you, you're wrong, and everything you've done has been bad, or you don't know what you're doing. No, science doesn't know science doesn't know. And right, that's what Donald Trump says.
Science got you everything else
everything he loves, that every plane he rides on, and every beautiful car, and everything, his big hotel, and everything was built.
Many
scientific backgrounds.
Decades of advancement in science that goes into all these things.
Right.
Like to say that, that's all great, but on this other thing, it's all wrong. It's like, no, it's not all wrong. It's the same people. It's the same process. It's the same everything,
Yeah. That you're saying, right, it's the same thing, which is...
And I think what it means is that the average American doesn't actually know how much of their life has been impacted by science, innovation, and research, and basic research, and people getting science degrees and researching the planet, researching technology, and elements, and communications, and satellites, and all this stuff, and rocketry. They don't realize that's gotten them where they are.
Right. What makes a cell phone? I mean, the cell phone.
So when you come along and you say, "Oh, by the way, while we're researching all these other things, we've discovered that climate change is happening," and then they're like, "Oh, well, but that can't be true because that's inconvenient for me to have climate change. So I think you're wrong. You're wrong. Everything else was right. I don't understand. Obviously, I don't understand all that other stuff. It's all a mystery to me. And because I don't understand it, I can say that this new part, this climate change thing, this global warming thing, has got to be wrong, right? Came from the same people, but this part's got to be wrong. I'm a Midwestern redneck, hayseed, hay coming out of my hair, and I've got to be right because I'm American. I'm always right.
I love cars.
So
and
if I think
cows.
all the scientists on the planet are wrong, that must be the truth, right? So it's disappointing. Look up Dunning-Kruger effect. See what that's about.
How are we doing? So, are you gonna? Oh, those are beautiful, cat. Sauteing Brussels sprouts. Yay! Great. And I'm making. I guess I could do it over there. I could do my cucumber working over here and just talk to everybody about my day and how it went, because it's a pretty good day. I'm working on, try to save my neighborhood and make a nice neighborhood and save the world too by building resilient neighborhoods. And I had a really nice talk with this woman from Ball. She was a black woman.
Ball. What is Ball?
Ball is a corporation that deals with preservation of food.
No, what is Ball?
Ball is a company, a corporation.
No, they make jars.
Oh, they make jars. Okay, good.
Why didn't you know that?
No, I do. Okay, fine.
Why didn't you say that?
All right, fine. They make the jars and the lids. Ball. Yeah. And so, and they're so nice, and so this woman, they're all working at home, and this woman, I think her name was Catherine. She, I don't know if she was black actually, but she might have been, and she was from North Carolina, and she called me Miss Tessa. I like that. And then we were talking, and it was just nice that we could talk, because actually the boss wasn't there. And I was thinking, that's the whole thing with capitalism is to separate us so we don't talk. It's really important that we don't talk, because if we talked, then we realize maybe problems with the way things are. And and this woman, it was so beautiful talking to her. So we talked almost like an hour, but we talked a little bit about canning. That's why she's there, to help me with my canning, and she did help me. But we talked, and one thing she said was so beautiful. She said, as I was telling her that I thought it was a good idea for mothers to quit working and homeschool their children, and that they needed to learn together how to live fossil fuel free, and that was the curriculum, and they needed to just start it. And just if we're trying to say that in 10 years we have to be off of fossil fuels, then it's like, well, we have responsibilities as adults to help our children to live without fossil fuels. I mean, it's not fair for us to say we have to be at zero in 10 years and just wait 10 years and then say, good luck, kids, so I'm saying we have to get started now, and that this is the perfect time to do it. And what this woman, Catherine, was saying to me is that she has one child, maybe from another marriage or another relationship, who's like 20 or so, but she had a 13 and 14-year-olds. And I don't know if it was a boy or girl, but she said that since she's been home, working at home, so she works at Ball Corporation, or Newell, they call it, and she's, working at home, and she is customer support for us to help with our pickles and canning and things like that. So I'm cutting her cucumber and getting it ready for pickles, making pickles. So excited, yay! And so so basically that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Anyway, I won't eat it. So anyway, so basically, what was I saying? What Catherine was saying, she was saying that since she's been home, that the whole feel of her home is her children are less stressed, and she feels this beautiful feeling of peace in her home since she's been home. And even though she's working at home, just her being there, and her children are working at home from school, homeschooling essentially, there's just this whole another level that the children aren't as stressed, and her home isn't as stressed, and she just feels this beautiful song of her home, the vibration in her home is lovely, she's saying. And I said, wow, that's something you can't put a price on, and how we've left our children so stressed and our home so stressed, and her just being there makes such a difference. And And I was telling you, there's a psychologist who said that what really makes a difference in a child life is they have a regular, available, continual, when almost 24/7 available adult there for them. And ideally, that's the mother, because we have to be there to nurse them for a long time. And we're the caregivers, so that's just how nature has planned it. And so anyway, and so she was saying that, and everything I was saying, she was agreeing to. That I thought she needed to stop working, and that they needed to figure out how not to, that they could, have their income work out, if they needed to live with their parents, if the children needed to live together. How was it going to work out that this mother can stay home with her children and homeschool them? And the homeschooling would entail living fossil fuel free. So that would be their whole program, is to learn to live fossil fuel free. And I was, so that's what I was saying to them. And she really liked it. And she agreed. It was just so nice to even talk to her about it, on the phone, talking to this customer service person. But there wasn't a boss down her throat, saying you're on the phone too long. And so, and that's what we used to do. We used to have women would help us learn to can. And so they're doing that for us. They're providing, it's sometimes men that answer the phone, but people who really know a lot about canning. And it's just a wonderful resource. And it's also a resource that I can talk, that there's like somebody there. Because one of the sad things about staying home, and women will complain about that, is that there's nobody else home. And that's been true. That we've abandoned our neighborhoods and our families to go to the workplace. And so there's nobody in our neighborhood taking care of our neighborhood either. And so that's another problem. So I told her that's what we needed to do. And when the other problem is, this is what I said, is that we need to build strong neighborhoods. And so you need to know everybody in your neighborhood, and we don't anymore. It's a hostile environment for the children to be working at home, and they don't even know the neighbors. It's a very hostile environment out there. And so, you can't send your kids out to go meet the neighbors. That wouldn't work out very well. So we need to go with them. And that's the 4-H program, is that the parent is with the child learning together. And so that's what we need to do. And she was really loving it. And I was like, we could really, share woman to woman, a sisterhood of talking about how we need to raise our children, and that we're not doing a good job. We're leaving them abandoned. And, it's really been bad. And now is a perfect opportunity, because that we need to start doing things differently, and having one person working. And we can't say that it's just not working out. The kids are failing. That's what the research is showing. The kids are failing when they're homeschooling, that they're getting D's and F's, and a lot of it. And so,
well, you just said homeschooling is a good idea.
Well, no, I'm saying they're I'll call it not homeschooling. Remote learning. Remote learning is different. Homeschooling is when the parent is involved, or at least usually it's the parent. Sometimes
it's more than that. Homeschooling is a commitment. Right now, the kids have been uprooted and sent home. That's what's really happening.
And nobody's there for them.
Well, someone has to be there. They wouldn't be.
Well, but that's really questionable, whether or not there's somebody there. That one woman.
There's a big difference between being sent home versus homeschooling.
That's right.
It's not the same thing at all.
That's right. Exactly. And so what I was saying is that we're giving them the short end of the stick, I think is the expression. And what I said to Catherine, the woman I was talking to in North Carolina from Ball Corporation that makes the canning jars, I said that we have to love our children more than money. And that was a comment that, my friend Denise, what's her name? Deanna, my climate change friend, and her sign as she was protesting in front of City Hall and telling us we had 12 years to go to zero, 12 years to reduce our, basically it used to be 50%, but now it's zero, because we've had so many more bad things that have happened. That was the burning of the burning of the forests has caused more,
things are very
tipping points. That's what Kat's saying. Things are accelerated, and everybody's talking about Well, Extinction Rebellion says 2025. So just keep that. That's what Kat says too. It has to. Kat says it has to be now. We have to start changing. We're not wanting to change, and so anyway, that was just the change. Was getting women to stay home and teach their children to be fossil fuel free. And part of that is what I'm doing is canning. So I don't buy a jar of pickles. I bought these from the farmer's market, refrigerated them. Then I'm cutting them up. And then I'm going to put them in a can with not alcohol, apple cider vinegar. And so they say that a lot of times they say white vinegar, but I wanted to use apple cider because it's healthier, but it will disfigure it, they say. I guess we have to get my apple cider vinegar out of those boxes. I think it's the one that says glass on it. So we ordered food bulk, and that's coming.
No, that's here.
It's here, yeah. Right. That came really quick. And we ordered bulk, and we put it in our, and like I ordered 11 pounds of dates. We love medjool dates. And it came in a beautiful box, but no, hardly plastic. And so it's really nice to get big. You know, that's the benefit of big, you know, right, honey?
Right.
You get less packaging. And we have containers we put it in to store it. Millennial plastic threaded containers that have a rubber gasket and no bugs can get in it. Well, that's good. So that was my day, realizing that you know, that a lot of women, and as another woman told me the story, my friend Heidi Owens, who's she told me that her children, one of them has ADHD. They're 8 and 10 years old. The 8-year-old ADHD was attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. But she's been a lot better since they're home schooled. So, you know, the research is in. I mean, it's not really rocket science to realize that kids thrive when their mother's around. You know, that's how nature intended it to be. And we've abandoned our children very young. And, you know, maybe we can, it seems like they take to that mother love pretty easy. They respond, even if it's been years that they haven't had it. They like it and they love it.
That's also nature's way. Children are made to be that way.
Yeah.
Our offspring are dependent on adults.
Right. Right. So maybe that's just, and you know, when I see, you know, I'm seeing with Marshall, it's like, you know, he's just being on his own. I like what Kat says. You know, our offspring are dependent on adults. And I think, even though you would say that's when they're young and they get to be 18 and they don't need you anymore, that's BS. They need us their whole life.
Well, but
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's true, but that's because it segues away from being a child dependency on a parent to being an adult dependency on a community. And, you know, your birth family, your biological parents is your first community, right? And, you know, sometimes in the past, families were really huge. You might have 17 people in a biological family.
Right.
You know, the two parents, maybe two grandparents, and then all these other people.
Kids, like, you know, 10 kids. That wasn't unusual to have 10 kids.
Maybe an auntie, maybe an uncle, and then a lot of children, right?
Right. But I think what it is just like in my research when I was doing about sex education and it was talking about moral development. You know, moral development comes from being around people of higher moral vicissitude, or I'm not sure what the word is, higher moral standards. That's how you develop your morality. You know, that's the problem when we ghettoize children together. Then they settle at the level of their moral development that they're at, and that the intergenerational is moral. It's passing moral development on to the younger ones because it's being around older people. And when you're not around us, you really fail. I say it's failing, and that's what I mean. I see it. You know, I see it. That, you know, they need us, and they don't want. You know, they're saying they don't. And right. Anyway, So that's it. So basically, what else are we talking about? So I'm trying to get this neighborhood thing together, and also trying to get what else? Our neighborhood. Well, that's what I want to move, these beautiful homes that are on West Julian Street, that are scheduled to be demolished. Listen to the fact. This is Google. This is what Google wants. There are 38 historic properties in the Google village that they have bought. I think it's 82 acres. Okay. There are 38 historic, and there are 9 that are, like, they call them super historic or something. 9 that are super historic or something like that. I don't know. I've got the term exactly, but they're super historic, like, have higher significance. And of that 38, 9 are super historic, and of those, only 3 of the super historic is Google preserving. Only 3. It's only 3, Ken, not 6. 3. And it's only of the super historic, which is, like, it turns out they're saving that the Tyco brick building.
Oh yeah, I'm glad.
They're going to save that. I know, that's beautiful. But that's a major, that's a major one. And then there's what else are they saving? The Tyco. Oh, they're saving the beautiful the water building, the water one, the water, the one that's on the Santa Clara, water. In the water district building.
So the water district is going away.
That one, that building,
Is
that
the
beautiful.
water district going away?
I guess they must have bought their property or something, right? So that beautiful historic building on the corner.
I just didn't think they were going to go anywhere.
Yeah, so I guess they bought that property and they're preserving that. And then there's a third one. It's like this shack that had welding at Santa Clara, and it's just a shack, and they're integrating it so beautifully into their program. Thank you. 3 of 38. That's not acceptable, right, Kat?
I noticed that those are all the ones that are, like, really near downtown, so that they could get extra brownie points for them.
Well, okay, like a shack, a welding shack that they're saving.
Yeah, but it's got high visibility.
Yeah, and then the
downtown.
It's just right in that same corner, in that same exact area of Montgomery, right? They're all there, right there. Right. 3 of them. That makes it easy for them. Yeah. They're all just 3 that they all have to deal with. There's just these 3. Yeah. Right. And nothing else. Nothing else.
Easy point.
38 historic buildings that are going to be demolished. If it wasn't for wonderful neighbors who are looking after this stuff, and people on this, it's called the Historic Landmark Commission, which has our Chairman Saum, Edward Saum, Chairman Saum, not to be confused with Chairman Mao. Right. So anyway, that's, luckily our neighbors have been looking at the properties, and now we have to go to the EIR to see it all and see what these properties. I said we should have seen it in the commission meeting, shown us which are the ones that you're ignoring. I want to see it. Well, I just found 3. So I found 3 that they're ignoring, and they're so adorable. These beautiful little homes on West Julian. And the fact that they're on West Julian really speaks to a history that I'd love to know, how that neighborhood has been so demolished down there, right, with the SAP Center. Yeah. And that those beautiful homes were there. It just makes you really wonder what the neighborhood looked like in the past. There are some beautiful homes over there, in that other section across the street from them, Yeah, sure. And that neighborhood has been destroyed by the SAP Center, right? Basically, right? Right. And so it was such a beautiful little neighborhood there with these beautiful homes. And if we could take them and put them on 615 Stockton Avenue, and what's his name told me is I should get a letter for, I'll just say his name is Vikram, who is he's our officer. He's our it's called Historic Preservation Officer, HPO. We have one now. We didn't always have one, an Historic Preservation Officer. And he was wonderful, Vikram, from India. And his parents are from India. I think he was born here, he said. And yeah, so basically, these homes are beautiful. And we want Google to buy the property that's the receivership property for like maybe 2.5 million. I don't know. The guy bought it for 3 million. We need to get a letter from that's what he recommended. I need to get a letter from Alan Wynn that he'd be willing to sell it and say his price, whatever his price is, right?
Okay. All right.
And have that. See, I'm getting the deal together. So basically, I'm a deal maker,
Broker.
I'm from New York, and I'm getting the deal.
Power broker.
I'm a power broker, saving the world, saving ourselves. And Google says over and over again, they want to build resilient communities. Okay, I know how to do that. Okay, so give me money and I'll do that. All right. I don't know if I need money. I could use money.
Well,
wouldn't
you
hurt.
certainly need the.
I need the resources to build.
Back you up,
Right. We need the what is it? Parks and parks and park and rec. These are part of building our neighborhoods into resiliency. It's also emergency. You know how much money we're spending on emergency? Our department everything is about the emergency now. It's COVID. It's called the Emergency Management Office. Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's something. It's the biggest office at City Hall now. Everybody's working for the emergency. You know what I'm saying, honey?
Yeah.
Under COVID. So, and do we have to? COVID brought us to understand that we needed to be neighbors helping neighbors. However, we really never got that act together. We never really got that together. Let's get that together, because there's future problems in our future, right? There are future catastrophes going to be hitting us. And Kat is saying, absolutely. Okay, so he's the futurist. He's saying he knows what's on the agenda with climate change, and he's saying absolutely. And so this is critical. So it's mass migration is the thing that really shakes me to my bones. Worried about that. I'm not worried. I would like to be prepared for it, because it's stupid to look the other way and say, oh, when they come, we'll deal with it. Because people are on the move. The science is showing people are on the move. There's going to be 1 billion by 2050. So you don't think that it's a continual drivel. 1 billion.
I think there's going to be 1 billion by 2030.
All right, that's Kat. So they're talking about 1 billion. That's a lot of people. So we got to get our resilient neighborhoods together and be ready to help a lot of people. A lot of people are going to need help.
Oh, yeah.
And it's already that way with COVID. Look how many people have needed help, right? We need a lot of help.
Well,
And we need to share the burden. Yeah. Okay. Homeless encampments. Yeah. Share the burden. It shouldn't just be the city of San Jose and the care. We have to all, like Kat says, it's the name of our program, all hands on deck. And it has to be the same with COVID. We have to start working for COVID still. We haven't still gotten COVID down.
We haven't even tried.
Right. And we're not helping our neighbors. We don't even know our neighbors. Yeah. So, and we need to do it local. And yeah, like right now, that the box for people who need help with COVID food is coming from what was the name of the farm? The beautiful farm. What's the name of that farm, Kat? The one that's over Emma Prush. Emma Prush Farms is providing all the produce for the whole entire city of people who need help. For the whole city of San Jose. Isn't that beautiful? And that's something that Alry. See, that's why we need food security and food sovereignty, because they've got to drive it over. I don't like that. And I told them they need to get on a bicycle system, but they're way over on the east side. We need farms everywhere that we can start helping each other. And that's what my friend.
Centralized resources is always going to be a mistake.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, we need a lot of centralized that are very localized. You know what I mean? Even if, like, Emma Prush, good. Well, we need an Emma Prush here. And that's what Alry, right? You know what I'm saying?
And that's distributed.
Right. But I mean, if it's distributed, exactly. And that's what you're saying. Centralized is always the problem. We only have one farm in San Jose. That's not good, right?
Yeah, you need at least 200.
Exactly. That's what Alry calls it. 25 by 25. That's what she's saying. And she's right. Right?
Yeah.
And my friend who my neighbor who's she talks about what's her name? I forget. Patty McIntough, something like that. McIntough. She says, we need to be growing victory gardens, and we need to be growing enough for ourselves, our family, and our neighbors and others. She wants us to get going and growing for others. We're supposed to be growing for others. I mean, put that in your hat and smoke it, right? That's the kind of stuff we need to do, is what she said, right?
We're a long way for that.
But that's the victory garden when we're talking about it. That's what Patty is saying to us. Grow more food for others too.
Yeah.
So we don't have to go and have the food delivered in a car, a fossil fuel based car, to come and deliver the food to the people.
Access to farmland should be walkable or at least bikeable.
Right. Exactly.
No one should be more than a short bike away from a field that they can work themselves.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. That's what Kat said. So there it is. That's what he's saying. And you can say it again. He's saying another thing we need to put in our ordinances about a resilient community, because that's what Google's talking about, is that you should be able to walk or bicycle to the nearest place where food is being grown and either help and in the comments, help together, or get some of the food, and then also.
But there's something else.
In your own home too.
It's a psychological thing. If you live in a concrete jungle and you don't see food being grown, then that's when you have food anxiety. But if you live in an area where there's fields and orchards and people working the fields and you see vegetable stands and all this stuff, then you feel in your mind that
secure.
You're near food.
You feel secure
all the time.
Uh-huh.
And your anxiety is about resilience and whether I'll have food or not, whether my children will have food or not, and all these rumors about food anxiety. They're gone.
Oh, I want to say something.
By food.
Did you see? This is the other thing we're seeing, and this is the problem we need to start looking at, because we're not supposed to be watching sports or going to sport things. We have a lot of problems, a lot of crises, and we got to focus on it. Okay, there's no time for sports. I should tell that to the city, the county of Santa Clara. There's no time for sports, and no matter what the businesses say about keeping them afloat, the 49ers Stadium, that call your supervisors. We have no time for sports because Kat and I don't look at sports. Okay, what we looked at, and it was shaking me to the bone thinking about it, is the lines of people waiting in line in their cars for food boxes. Right, we've seen it where it goes, right, Kat?
Yeah. Going
around the block. And that is food insecurity. That is food stress. That is not good for you to feel that food. You have to wait in line in a car, 10 blocks long and idling as you're trying to get some food. That's anxiety. That's stress producing. It's not good for our health. And he says it's good for our health to feel that the food's nearby. Right? That's what you're saying, basically, right?
I think it's really important.
And that's what Allery says. Is the children need to be rolling in the dirt. That's very important for their gut biology, to be eating the dirt and eating the vegetables. So this is part of our immunity system, she's saying. And our immune system is broken down because we're so separated from nature. And that Kat is saying that, say that we need it close by, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons. What is it? Surrounded by it. Oh, doesn't that sound nice? Like our gorilla ancestors, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And we're not, we need to be moving in that direction so we don't have to look at that horrible scene of people waiting in line in their cars, 10 blocks long blocks of people waiting for the box of food to be given them free. People are really having a very hard time. So we need to all hands on deck. Start growing food, helping your neighbors.
So I've got pan-fried Brussels sprouts.
Okay, good.
And I've got noodles.
Good.
So
should we eat?
I don't plan on making anything more than that.
Oh, I can't wait to eat. Okay, good. And I'm almost done with these. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, okay. It looks so good. Thank you. My cucumbers. Yeah, so that was kind of the message. Get busy. And, I'm saying the mothers need to take their children out of homeschool their children and learn together to live fossil fuel free, live waste free, know their neighbors, get to know like I said, the only way the kids are going to know their neighbors is if the mother goes with them, because nobody, and I said, don't feel bad if some people aren't nice, because we have to look over them and just keep looking for the people who are of the same umwelt, the same vibration, that want to, be neighbors, want to help each other, want to know each other. I mean, there might be some out there. I hope so.
Oh, I assure you there are.
Okay, good.
There are a lot of broken people, and there's a lot, and they're going to stay broken. They're broken forever. They'll never be there for you. And then there's going to be a lot of people who are just waiting for an opportunity to not be broken.
Right. Well, I was just thinking about my neighbor, my 94-year-old Marshall, my other Marshall. I can have another Marshall in my life. Good. I need another Marshall. So, because I lost one, so I need another one. So Marshall is 94. And, I don't have his phone number. I don't have his email. I can't call him and say, how you doing, Marshall? Right? That's what I should be doing, right? Finding out how he's doing, right?
Yeah.
So, we do need each other's numbers. And that's what I'm saying. So I guess I'm just going to go around collecting numbers of my neighbors. And, I didn't call that other program I was going to do, which is called, what is that one, that security one? Oh, what is it that they give us the cards? What's that called, that program I was going to do? Neighborhood Watch. It's called Neighborhood Watch. And I love that. So I'm going to start with that. All right, good. Thank you. I guess we're done. So have a good night. Friday night. Sleep well. See you tomorrow, maybe. Bye. Good night. Any last words, Kat?
Nope.
Okay.
Stay home.
Stay home. All right. Love that. That was good. 2 good last words. Stay home. Yeah. Okay, hold on. I'm trying my best. Okay. Oops. I'm getting there. Oh, I'm trying. Trying. Oh, I did.